Hello, friends, and welcome to Escaping the Mouse with your host, me, Breck Roll. All right, you know that for Christmas I got an Instant Pot this year, and I had the thing shipped to me and it arrived about 10 days ago, but I haven't really done a whole lot with it yet. And I finally decided yesterday I wanted to sit down and familiarize myself a little bit with it. So I read the manual cover to cover, all 12 pages of it. When all it basically does is just kind of familiarize you with the basic functions of the thing, how to insert the inner pot, how to lock the lid down, how to put the gasket on, how to turn it on, how to turn it off, how to vent it, all that fun stuff. But it didn't really give you a whole lot of information beyond that. It did give you instructions on doing your first test cook, where basically you boil water. And I did all that last night, and now I want to try it out for real. Like I said, the manual doesn't give you a whole lot of information. So about the same time I got back from California after the holidays, I ordered a couple of Instant Pot cookbooks. And I've been trying to thumb through those and figure out something that I could easily start with. Now, one of the things I've wanted to do ever since I moved to Texas was to get a little bit more into cooking chili. It's almost a state law here in Texas that you have to have a pickup truck, and you gotta love it to cook and eat chili. Well, I'm already violating the pickup truck rule, so I figured I better get going on the chili. And I found a very simple chili recipe in one of the Instant Pot cookbooks, and I think I'm going to try and do that. For those of you who enjoy my cooking vlogs, you're probably going to like this next week or so, because I'm going to probably do a few cooking vlogs just to kind of show you and kind of familiarize myself with this new cooking Instant Pot that I have. So let's get going on this. Yeah, so this is my Instant Pot. Like I said, I've done the basic cooking test on it and boiled water with it, and it works pretty well. Seems to function properly. Everything seems to work the way it's supposed to be. And like I said, I got a couple of cookbooks on Instant Pot recipes. I found them on Amazon, and I figured that'd be a good place to start. And I was kind of thumbing through them, and like I said, I found a pretty simple chili recipe. Now, the chili recipe I found has pinto beans in it, and I know any true Texan would tell you that you're not supposed to put beans in chili. You're just going to have to forgive me on that. I agree with you, but right now I'm going to start with following one of the simple recipes, and I'm just going to follow it to the letter. So this is the recipe I've chosen to do. It's called Easy Beef Chili, and it's ground beef, kidney beans, diced tomatoes, tomato paste, an onion, some garlic, bell pepper, some beef broth, and salt and pepper. It looks like a real simple thing to do, so let's see how it works. So except for the salt and pepper, I don't have any of this stuff, so off to the grocery store. Alright, so here are the ingredients of our simple beef stew. First off, it's a whole lot of beef broth, a can of red kidney beans, 2 cans of diced tomatoes, 1 can of tomato paste, 1 onion, 6 garlic cloves, 2 bell peppers, 2 pounds of ground beef, and just to add a little kick to it, I'm going to throw in a couple of jalapeno peppers too. Now, I discovered at the grocery store that I think I'm going to double the recipe, so that's what you see here. Everything you see here represents the recipe times 2. And basically, it's really simple. You just basically chop up all the ingredients and put them in the pot and cook it. So let's get going. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to chop up my bell peppers. I'm just going to kind of core it right now. Basically, we're going to pull all the seeds out of it here, because you don't want any of the seeds in there. You just want the bell pepper. So that's our bell peppers. Next we're going to cut up our jalapeno peppers. Definitely want to keep my fingers out of my eyes for this one. I'm going to cut it right down the axis here so I can kind of get the seeds out of it, because that's what you kind of want to do on these. Usually a spoon's kind of a good way to do that. Now I'll admit I'm still too much of a wimp to cut onions by hand, so I'm still going to use the food processor for that. And another thing I like to use the food processor for is grinding garlic. I actually do have a garlic press, but my experience is that nothing pulverizes garlic and chops it up into nice little chunks like the food processor. So that's just kind of my approach. Do that how you want. Now the recipe basically just says pour all the ingredients into the mixing pot, but I've actually kind of kept all the fresh stuff separate right now because I want to put the ground beef in, because I think if I put the ground beef in and don't kind of break it up a little bit, I'm just going to end up with a big chunk of ground beef in the middle of it. So I'm going to put the ground beef into the mixing pot by itself and kind of break it up a little bit before I pour everything else in. So I'm just going to kind of grind it up a little bit here with a wooden spoon. You know, once I got all the ingredients in there, it says kind of mix it together, and I'm guessing that'll break things up a little bit more. But like I said, I wanted to start off by at least breaking it up a little bit before everything else goes in there. Maybe a wasted step, but whatever. It's not going to hurt. Alright, so let's just pour everything else in there. I'm going to start with my kidney beans, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to strain and rinse them, because that's what the instructions say. And into they go. And guess who came down to Mooch for food when he heard the can opener? Yeah, it's you, isn't it? No tuna this time, buddy. And in goes the tomatoes. And I'm going to have to use another hand to get the tomato paste out. You'll just have to use your imagination with the tomato paste. While I don't have everything in there, I'm going to stir it up a little bit here just to kind of get things started. Yeah, that's starting to go together really well. Now let's put in all the veggies, which I just dropped. And we're going to mix that up a little bit. And then the only other thing I have to put in here is my beef broth. So that's 14 cups of beef broth. Now I'm just going to kind of mix it up a little bit. Still got to put some salt and pepper in there, but that'll go together pretty easily, I think. And so now I got 2 teaspoons of sea salt and 1 teaspoon of ground pepper. Just kind of mix that in real good here. I don't know, we'll have to see what this looks like when it thickens up. And then we put the inner pot into the Instapot and put the lid on it. Lock it down. And according to the instructions, you just press the bean and chili option and start. And that's all there is to it. So we let this cook for about 30 minutes and supposedly then it'll be ready to go. So supposedly what happens now is first thing that's going to happen is the pressure is going to build up inside the pot, and then once that happens, the where it says on there will start on a countdown, and when it's done, it'll be done. Supposedly when it gets up to pressure, this little red button will pop up, and that tells you it's under pressure. Alright, things are heating up to the point where that little red button's about to pop up. Once that happens, then the pressure cooker starts cooking. Here we go. Pressure cooker started. Timer should start any second now. I think what ends up happening is once the pressure starts going up inside the chamber, then the timer starts. Alright, we just hit pressure and countdown timer is on. 30 minutes, we'll have chili. And actually it'll be a little bit more than 30 minutes because it's 30 minutes to cook, about 10 minutes to depressurize itself, and then we can have it. Alright, 30 minutes is up, and I've naturally let it depressurize for an additional 10 minutes. So now I'm going to push the depressurization button and finish up that. And I guess when the red button goes in, it's safe to open. So let's see what this is all about. Yeah, that looks pretty decent. So I took the inner pot out just to kind of let it cool off a little bit. I noticed I took a taste test. It's really, really hot. So it's going to have to cool a little bit before it'll be anything near edible. Alright, so I put a little bit of this in a dish just to let it cool off a bit. Initial instincts are it isn't really what I would call the consistency of chili. It's more of a soup. It's actually pretty tasty, but like I said, we got a long ways to go before we can call this chili. Alright, initial report from the first thing I did on the Instant Pot. It is good. It's a very good thing. It was very flavorful, very tasty, and it was delicious to eat, and it's, you know, good thing to warm yourself up, but it is not chili. It's more like a soup. So I think we got a long ways to go until we're going to get to the point where, you know, we can make chili in this thing. Now, I guess I probably should have known when you had, you know, 3.5 tins of beef broth in there that it maybe wasn't going to be the consistency of chili, that it was going to be more soupy. But like I said, it's still good, but we got some work to do to actually get to the chili thing. So I'm actually looking forward to trying additional recipes in this thing. It is fairly easy to use. Don't let it intimidate you. It's one of those things that on its very simple level, it is easy to use. But then if you really want to dig into it, you know, there's all sorts of layers and all sorts of programming you can do with it to do some real kind of really cool things with it. So I'm looking forward to playing with it some more. And I think that's really all I have for today. Thank you as always for watching, and I will see you next time on Escaping the Mouse. Good night.